along the port of the Belgian city of Ghent, exists one of Belgium's most impressive pieces of forgotten industry. When it opened back in 1914, it was renowned for its grandeur and innovation. This tradition continued, creating the grandest power station in the area. Surviving 2 world wars and multiple bombings, the station today stands abandoned and forgotten. In this episode, we are discovering the hidden past of this impressive piece of industrial heritage and what was left when it was suddenly abandoned. There are 2 buildings on the train. One large, modern looking part and one smaller but much older section. Although the larger, more modern part was abandoned in its past and quite the scene to behold, it is today stripped to its core. So we'll focus on the old machine hall, which is still completely intact. We had to be careful when exploring, unsure if we were alone on the large terrain. A lot looks sealed already, but a bit further our doors seem to be forced open, allowing us to enter the building. We made our way into the ground floor of the turbine hall. Our eyes immediately fell on this odd-looking car. It may look goofy, and it may be goofy, but this small car is truly unique. Zagato is an Italian coach builder known for designing the most beautiful and exclusive special edition cars in existence. In 1974, during the energy crisis, Zagato decided to develop and produce this highly experimental electric vehicle. In true Zagato fashion, the car was hand-built and was on sale for just 2 years. In total, around 500 vehicles were ever sold, making it an incredibly rare find. Before we continue heading upstairs, let's start with a bit of history. During the early 1900s, electricity was still new, but quickly becoming one of the most important innovations. In the port of Ghent, the construction of the state-of-the-art complex began in 1913. In 1914 it was finished and operating, but not for long, because World War I broke out, prompting the Germans to invade Belgium. When the station was bombed, the walls remained standing, but the installation was largely destroyed. The future of the then brand new station looked grim, but it was eventually repaired and returned back in operation. After the war, the station continued providing electricity, finally starting its long career ahead. The turbine hall is the true beating heart of the station, converting steam into electricity. It's often also the most impressive part, and this one was no different. Large, blue-colored turbines were located here. Brown Bavaria units, dating back to 1927. Units as old as these are quite rare to see these days, with not many left still intact. However, we had to be careful due to some sensors placed on some of the beams. We weren't sure if they were active, but we didn't want to risk it before we'd seen other interesting parts. We entered what we initially thought to be a control room. Instead, it was full of old switches related to the many machines in this hall. Heading upstairs, we discovered a room full of papers. The archive was ransacked and thrown about on the floor. It was shocking, considering what historic artifacts were left behind upon just a short look. During the 1920s, industry in general was changing rapidly, especially on the social front. First started in Britain, it became popular to create work or housing, and this was the same for this power station. Besides housing, a velodrome was also built in the area. All the facilities were paid for by the firm itself, making it more than just a workplace, but a true community for many families. In the autumn of 1939, when a large part of the younger workforce was ordered for military service, preparing for a possible German attack. Eventually Belgium was again attacked, and after 18 days, Belgium was captured. During this time, the workforce was known to send care packages to their co-workers in exile. Times were bleak, but fortunately began to change with the liberation of Europe. Next to the row of turbines were some machines that were quite different. Many of them were old school steam engines. They were also placed on blue colored concrete, looking somewhat out of place. And they are out of place, in fact. This former power station was, in its last years, operating as a museum called Energia. So a ton of vintage equipment was located here, one showcasing the history of power generation. The banners and posters on the walls also suggest this. Although much of the collection has been removed, some pieces still remain. In the post-war period, the demand for electricity soared, making this small power station insufficient. A new block next door was built in the late 1950s, embracing the next generation of power production. With this, the older sections slowly began closing down and becoming less relevant. In the 1980s, the part was repurposed as a museum, which quickly became quite popular. We made our way to the back of the power station, eager to see what we'd find next. Right here was the old control room, left in the station. Although, as you can see, it wasn't the original one. Instead, it was a more modern unit, controlling the stop station next door. Nevertheless, it was still a nice find to conclude our adventure. The museum closed down in 2000 when the board of directors deemed it unnecessary. The newer generation power plant next door closed down around 2011, ending nearly a 100-year story of power generation. After these years, many sections were demolished, and the old museum collection was ransacked many times. Today, the remains of these two buildings are currently in the process of being renovated to eventually host events. With this, these historically significant structures will remain for the next generations.